Hello everyone, it's Jeff again. This week I am traveling a small part of the original Route 66 through New Mexico, Arizona, the very corner of Nevada, and California. And I would like to tell you a couple of quick stories about that area of the United States and Route 66. My first story begins in Flagstaff, Arizona, where there was 4 brothers, the Whiting brothers. Arthur, Ernest, Eddie, and Ralph Whiting. And in 1917, Ernest had a small turkey farm where he was raising turkeys for the local slaughterhouse. And there was a grasshopper infestation, and he came up with an absolute brilliant idea. He would rent out his turkeys to the farmers, and they would turn them loose in the field, and the turkeys would eat all of the grasshoppers. Then he didn't have to kill the turkeys, and he could expand the number of turkeys that he had. Well, it worked brilliantly, and he took the little bit of money that he made from all of it, and his brothers and him opened their first gas station, the Whiting Brothers gas station. It was 1926. With the new highway, Route 66, running through their area, their empire expanded quickly. They added restaurants, motels, repair garages, even 2 new car dealerships. Their slogan was "Quality gas for less," and they offered free coffee with every fill-up. They were an instant success, and they became part of the history of Route 66. From 1926 until the mid-1960s, they operated over 200 businesses, from Shamrock, Texas to Barstow, California. They had hotels, restaurants, car repair facilities, gas stations, grocery stores, and tire stores. When Route 66 lost its status as a major highway and basically Interstate 40 took over, most of the businesses were closed. Some of them were sold and became other gas stations. Most of them were just abandoned, and they are left as hulks alongside the highway. The original buildings were built by themselves usually. The father of the brothers owned a sawmill in Flagstaff, and most of these buildings were built from lumber from the father's sawmill. They had their own cattle ranch, and the restaurant served beef from their own ranch. 4 of the original gas stations still operate as gas stations under other names. The rest of them, as I said before, are just hulks left along the highway. The children of the original 4 brothers have diversified into other businesses and moved on. They continue to be successful even today. The Whiting brothers were part of Route 66 history and will continue to be forever. At one time in America, they were the 5th largest gasoline retail chain in America. I would like to leave the Whiting brothers now and take you to another part of the United States to continue on and tell you the next part of this story. Owatonna, Minnesota, and primarily this building right here, where they had a young student named Don Laughlin who trapped muskrat and managed to save up quite a bit of money because the trapping business was very lucrative then, and it was during the Depression, and he used the money to order slot machines through a mail order catalog and installed them in all of the local bars. And he was making over $500 a week. The principal of the high school told him that he had two choices. He could either stop what he was doing or he could drop out of school. And our young student, Don Laughlin, told the principal of the school, "I am making 5 times what you do a week." He drifted around for a while and eventually went to work at the 101 Club in Las Vegas, where he basically just did odd jobs and at night went to bartending school and eventually became the manager. And later on bought the 101 Club, which he ran successfully. Well, knowing that he could never expand in Las Vegas because that was during the days when the mob controlled Las Vegas, he thought about where he could move and open up his own club where he would be free to expand and run the business the way he wanted to. While flying in a plane, he spotted this rundown and shuttered casino motel in the middle of nowhere on the Colorado River and proceeded to make a deal to buy it with very little down, $35,000 down. And it came with enough acreage to create his own town. And he quickly remodeled the casino hotel to look like this, which gave him quite a bit more rooms and an area to have a restaurant and parking facilities. And it was right on the original Route 66. And it became quite popular. It was known for its 98-cent all-you-can-eat chicken dinners. A remodel in the 1970s added a tower, which gave beautiful views of the river. The small growing city around the sprawling casino eventually adopted the name Laughlin after Don Laughlin, and it continued to grow. In the early 1960s, one of the early pioneers in building chainsaws retired to the area, Robert McCulloch, and became a real estate developer. He flew to London, England in 1968 and purchased a bridge that they were in the process of demolishing it and brought it to America and rebuilt it in Lake Havasu City across the river from Laughlin. He had in mind a housing development, and he wanted the bridge for something elegant that you would have to drive over to enter his new housing development. Laughlin and the surrounding area continued to grow until 9/11. After 9/11, they suspended all of the air flights into their airport, and the flights were never reinstated, and that hurt the city immensely. With the COVID pandemic, the crowds have dropped even more, and now they are very small in comparison to what they were in the late 1990s. I sit here now in the evening on the banks of the Colorado River, looking across at the city of Laughlin and the beautiful lights reflecting in the river. And I know that the future of the city is very uncertain, but I wish it nothing but the best. Laughlin was a lot of fun back in the early 1990s. When working in construction, I used to come here fairly often. And now you know the story of the Whiting brothers and how they became part of the history of Route 66, and how a young boy from a small town in Minnesota trapping muskrats managed to save enough money to buy a few gambling machines to put in local pubs, and ended up creating a city that bared his name. And it all happened on Route 66. Remember, everyone, be good to one another, think good thoughts, do good deeds, and I will see you again.